Welcome to a new video on our YouTube series. There's definitely construction happening upstairs, so if you hear it, it's fine. This isn't an official podcast, it's just a video for our YouTube channel. But today I'm going to talk about something that I think is so valuable for every podcaster, every seasoned maven who wants to be in media production, everybody who is thinking about the future of what we're going to be doing to share our wisdom and our conversations and our ideas in the future, in a few years. I'm going to talk about why it's more important to learn how to be a good show host and less important to learn how to be a good editor or a good producer. And you may be like, what are you talking about, Christine? You're a professional podcast producer and you own an agency that edits shows. But I think it's really helpful for you as a show host to understand where the production industry is headed as far as how we're incorporating AI tools, how we're shifting and evolving our own processes to be future ready so that we can take the best that AI and technological advances have to offer us and make even better media. And I'm going to talk specifically about podcasting, but obviously this conversation relates to a lot of other areas of media production and of content generation. So here's what I'm going to focus on in this video and why I want you as a podcaster to think of developing skill sets that will be invaluable and translatable no matter how evolved our technology gets. I keep a close tab on what AI is doing in the podcast world, in the media creation world, in the video editing world, in the audio editing world, in all the areas that impact, obviously, the business that I run. And I get excited about all the developments because I know they can save a ton of human labor that, historically has been very tedious. Like if you've never edited an hour-long interview between two people with 3 cameras and 2 audio tracks, it's a lot of work and it doesn't need to be. Like when we get to a point where AI is smart enough to do a lot of that cleanup, cutting between cameras, cleaning up speech, making transitions smooth, cutting out stuff that is awkward or doesn't sound good. Like that will save so much time. And I'm so excited for that day. We're not quite there yet. The tools are early, so they're not great yet, but they're going to get there. And I have no doubt of that. And I'm excited to save so much human labor from that really tedious process that doesn't require a ton of brain capacity. It requires skill because we don't have a good tech tool yet that does that beautifully for us. There's tools that do it kind of clumsily, but to get a really beautiful edit of even just a regular podcast, it's still your best product's going to come from a human. That's not going to be that way in the future. I am fully confident that our AI editing technology will get good, really good, better than humans maybe, in the near future, probably just within a few years. And so I'm really not worried about our production team becoming the best editors in the world. That's not our goal. And it's not because editing isn't a beautiful art and science and very needed. It is. But for the kind of shows that we produce at our company, which are typically what's called chat shows or talk shows, where people are just having a conversation and almost all of it gets shared, or someone's speaking directly to the audience, and they probably have an outline and they have ideas of what they want to cover, but they're not reading off a script or doing a narrative style or journalistic style approach to the episode. The editing for us isn't super artsy and nuanced. It's pretty simple. It's like, we're going to clean up your speech. We're going to take out awkward tangents and pauses. We're going to make sure that the video cuts between the people follow what the conversation did. And, it's kind of just a job. So at our company, at Worthville Media, and with my team, we're less focused on how do we become really, really, really good editors. And we're focused more on how do we help our clients become really, really good show hosts. And that's where this video comes in, because I think as a podcaster, if you are trying to look down the road 3 to 5 years from now and make really smart decisions about what kind of a show you want to be making currently, what impact you want to have, how your content will age over time on the internet, what people will need information about in a few years that you can be sharing now to have that already living on the internet, driving traffic to it, building search engine optimization, right? All this technical, geeky stuff that we do behind the scenes to help your good content be found by the people looking for it. That thought process, which is smart, I suggest also be applied to your own skill as a show host, to your own ability as a speaker, as someone who's comfortable on camera and comfortable on a microphone, who understands the relationship of your voice to an audience who's not physically in front of you. We did a video last week on the series about how to podcast in front of people, like how to take advantage of a live audience. And it's amazing. But most of the time for most podcasters, you don't have one, right? You're looking at a camera, you're looking into a microphone. Maybe you have someone else on your computer screen or in a studio with you that you're chatting with. But the skill of being able to communicate effectively on a recording is invaluable. Like, that will be so useful for such a long time, because even as our technology evolves and AI becomes better and better at, simulating people speaking naturally, there is probably not a world any of us are going to survive to live in that makes better content through machines than through humans. Yes, we will learn how to efficiently optimize and vet information and, generate and distribute it better. But podcasting has become such a beloved media format for so many people, both to listen to and to create or to watch, because it's so human, because it's so intimate, because it's quote unquote real, right? It's very different than TV. It's very different than even radio. There is a freedom within podcasting to speak long form for a while, to kind of pursue an idea and see where it takes you in conversation, to tell stories and to take up space. And that means that we get to show our humanity. And that's what we're really good at. And if you are thinking about how can I become a better podcaster? How can I prepare myself for a future that will be, so deeply affected by technology and artificial intelligence? I would say learn and invest in the skills now of how to communicate powerfully and authentically using your own voice, being true to your values, using critical thinking skills to decide what kind of content you share publicly versus what you share privately, understanding the value of relationship and how to add value to people through conversation, whether it's guests that you're curating conversation with or audiences that you're having dialogue with. Those are skills that are so translatable across time, across industry, across technology. And I think what's, for me as a podcast producer, such a cool perspective, because I've been working in the space for almost 10 years, is that the people who have learned how to develop the skill of being a good podcaster have all these doors opening to them now. And they continue to open. Really cool media opportunities that are unique. The opportunity to collaborate and partner with big brands or organizations that are looking for a brand safe, trusted type of host or guest to speak about the conversations that are important to that brand's audience and understand the nuance of how to do that. There are podcasters who've been working on their craft for, 5-10 years now or more, that understand the value of being able to look into a camera lens to deliver a message to millions of people who they can't see, but they know are on the other side of the camera when it gets posted on YouTube. That's a skill that's really translatable and important and valuable. The understanding of how to emote authentically what you're really feeling through a microphone, and where to sort of edit yourself and where to let yourself go. That's a skill that's really eternal. And I think that hopefully this is an encouragement to you that as our technology gets better and as editing and production becomes way more efficient and quicker and more budget friendly, you don't need to become a better editor. And a lot of what we do in production will change rapidly because we'll be able to be so much more efficient. But what won't change, and what production teams will need to get better at, what show hosts will need to get better at, is being human in a relatable and thoughtful way. Because media, especially podcasting, is accessible in a way it never has been before, right? You can just hit publish and like anyone in the world who has access to open internet can watch or listen to what you're saying. That's like really unprecedented in the history of humanity. And we've talked about this on other episodes, but what I want to bring home today is like what you can control and what you can really invest your time in now that will have a great return later is learning how to use your voice and your presence and your being to communicate what's important to you, to the people who want to understand. So that's our message today. It's a little bit shorter and more to the point because I think obviously there's a lot going on and rapidly evolving within media production, within podcasting, within YouTube. And so often I'm talking to clients and they have questions like, well, should I pay attention to this? Should I focus on this? Should I switch to this tool, this hosting company? Should we change up our whole editing process? And while I'm always looking for efficiencies and I'm always keeping a tab on, what the most advantageous path is, more often than not, my answer is none of that will be nearly as impactful as you becoming a better show host and practicing the art and the skill of communicating and being comfortable in your own skin, owning your worth, as we say at Worthful Media, right? Like really having a deep sense of self-worth and an understanding of how you're presenting that appropriately to your audience or to the people who are listening or to the people who are looking for the information you have to offer. Okay, that's our tip for this week. Subscribe to the channel. We're bringing you new videos every week. I'm hoping all of these videos will be evergreen and very useful in years to come, but I want you to get them first while we're recording them and posting them live. And if you have questions or comments or you have topics you want me to cover about what I talked about today or in another video, just leave it in the comments and we'll cover it in another video.